I have to talk about the Yugo, because that was in the 1980s. I had sent my team around the world with the following instructions. Find me the cheapest car in the universe. And they came back with, we found one. Where? Yugoslavia. Really? Yeah. Where's Yugoslavia? They told me where Yugoslavia is. I said, but that's a communist country. Oh, yeah, but it really isn't. I said, what does he mean? It really is or it really isn't? Well, it sort of is, but it isn't. I said, okay, I'll go to Yugoslavia. Very, very uncomfortably. Now, I fly to Zurich, and I have to change planes to go to Belgrade. I am in the VIP lounge in the bathroom. While I'm going to the bathroom, peeing next to me is Henry Kissinger. Now, I had read everything about Yugoslavia, and I read that Larry Eagleburger was an ambassador to Yugoslavia, and there was some kind of big problem, a hurricane or earthquake or something. He donated blood and became Yugoslavia's most favored son. So I say to Henry, while we're peeing, Henry, is Larry Eagleburger working for you? He said, yes, he's my president. No kidding. I said, I think I'm about to do a deal with Yugoslavia. I think we should get together. While we're peeing, he takes a card and hands it over the what's name. All right, that's my introduction to Henry Kissinger.
Oh, there you go.
Now, I go to Yugoslavia, I meet the people, and they're just the nicest people in the whole world. And the factory is about the worst factory I've ever seen in my life. It had grease this high on the floor. People smoked while they burn holes in the what's name. They welded without goggles because it was macho, and they had burned their eyes out. And you could not get near a bathroom for 300 feet. I decide this is crazy. But they take us for lunch into a park that has 5,000 acres. And it's important, 5,000. And in the center of the park, they have monuments all over the place sculptured, but in the center is a little hotel and a little restaurant. And we go there, and they tell me the story about the park. Yugoslavia fought the Nazis in the war. Yeah. And the Nazis had taken over this town of Kragujevac, which is where the factory is. And a bunch of kids and fathers got together and became vigilantes, whatever, and they were killing Nazis. So the Nazis, in order to show them you don't do that crap, got 5,000 fathers and sons and killed them in that park. So they did an acre for each kid, the 5,000 acres, and I listened to the story, and my tears are coming out of my eyes. I said to them, I'll tell you what, if you'll listen to everything I tell you to do, don't tell me you can do it, just listen, and we'll send over to people. You do what I say, I'll take that, and I'll do something for you. You pick a state in the United States that you want to beat Volkswagen, and our car will sell more than Volkswagen in that state, I promise you. Everybody laughed. We signed a contract. Unbelievable. It was $39.90. Now, I had my oldest son and Tony Simonera, a guy that knows cars backwards and forwards, and he knew Fiat backwards and forwards, and it was in a 30-year-old Fiat in a 50-year-old factory that was there. And I said to them, their mandate, you got to meet the regulations, that's number one, and you got to put in everything you think you have to put in for the United States. Seatbelts, all sorts of things you have to put in. Yeah, but it'll cost money. I said, don't worry about it, just do it. And we negotiated a price which was the original price without anything new in it. And $39.90, I couldn't really afford to put too much else in there because I had to pay the dealer's money and we had to make money, and you had warranty and you had advertising. I mean, you don't just sell a car. Anyhow, I would get a call once a week from my son. Dad, we just put in the seatbelts and they cost whatever, let's say $52. You understand that's money, that's a currency American that they don't have, that they have to buy from somebody outside the country. I said, do it. Every week they'd call me up with a bill of, Dad, we're going to have to put in much time. Do it. So now it's 1 month before we're ready to put them on the ship. Now, we had to pave the port. We had to bring in unleaded gas. They didn't have any of that stuff. We had to take the rust off the railroads that were taken in there so it didn't drip and ruin the cars. And we had to build a little factory outside the factory because 100% of the cars came off the line not good. So we had to fix them. And those that we rejected, they got more money for. So they didn't give a damn. So we're doing all this. Everything is ready to go. Had to get a ship that was going to be coming back and forth to Yugoslavia. Set up 400 dealers for that thing. They had pre-orders of over 100,000 units before I brought the first car in. We bring in the parts. We do everything we're supposed to do. And now it's 1 month before everything is ready to go. And ambassadors are coming in and politicians are coming in. Everything's going to be a big deal. So now I had to send my two people over to negotiate the final price, open up the letters of credit, and get going. Everything's ready. And I said to them before they left, here's your negotiation. First, you admit we put in $1,200 of improvements into the car. Absolutely don't even argue with that. Here's the bill of lading. Show them $1,200. And then tell them we're not going to give them anything. They have to take the original price without the $1,200 in it. They said, what can we go up to? I said, you can't go up to anything. That's it. If we're going to sell it for $39.90, which we've done, we can't give them a penny. And it leaves us, after everything, a $500 profit. They said, well, why are you sending us? I said, just go. So after the first day, I get a call back. You know, everybody's laughing. Ha, ha, ha. When are we going to get down to business? I said, don't change your attitude at all. The third day, I get a call, and they said, you know what we're doing now? We meet at 10 o'clock. We drink Solivovich, or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
He said, by 12 o'clock, everybody's drunk. But there's no negotiation. There's nothing to negotiate. You've just told them that's it. I said, no problem. I said, I'll be in 2 days. And I called our ambassador in the that was there for the United States, and I called their ambassador in, and I have a big meeting with their people, their top people at Zastava, and we sit down. I said, gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank everybody for the great cooperation. Look what you got outside. Hey, we had PPG come over and teach them how to paint metallic paints. I mean, we really did a number on this thing. And he said, I said, now here's our story. At $39.90, you got a Yugomania. You'll sell as many cars as you can build, as long as you let us build what we're talking about and you pay attention to doing it right. But we can't give you any money for that. And here's the reason. We're capitalists. We have to make money. You're a communist. You don't have to make any money. And that's it. And they said, okay.
And there you go.
And that's how Yugo started. And we delivered 60,000 the first year. At a $500 profit per, and it went along, and then somebody came to me, and there's another part to the story, and then that's the end of the Yugo story. So now Eagle Burger is on my board of directors, and Kissinger is working for us. All right. One day I get a call from Larry Eagleburger, Malcolm. We got to go over to Yugoslavia and meet Milosevic. He's the new president of Yugoslavia. I said, okay, fine. I was over there once a month anyhow. So we fly over, and we meet Milosevic and his wife in a beautiful ornate room, and everybody was kissing our ass because we were the only business that was happening in Yugoslavia. And I walk out of the room after an hour and a half, and I turned to Eagleburger, and I said, I'm selling the company. He said, what's wrong with you? I said, Larry, in my lifetime, I have never been in a room that I felt such evil. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but even when I talk today, my hair snowed on my end. There was just something about the Milosevic and his wife that it was like sitting in my face. And 1 month later, I sold it for $20 million. 2 years after that, the United Nations put an embargo on Yugoslavia, so you could not buy or sell anything from Yugoslavia. And of course, that was the end of Yugo in the United States.
This is Nightline, January 8th, 2007.
Good evening from Detroit. We're here in Motown at the North American International Auto Show. In the audience was Malcolm Bricklin, an American entrepreneur with his eye on the East. Bricklin made some $150 million from introducing the Subaru to North America. Over the last 3 years, he's been figuring out how to import the next low-cost sensation into America. More than 1,000 hours of that quest have been caught on tape by his son Jonathan for a yet-to-be-released documentary, The Entrepreneur.
Like Preston Tucker before him and John DeLorean after, the Malcolm Bricklin Car Company soon went bankrupt. He then proceeded to lose everything he had ever made and get divorced for the first time. So without wasting another minute, he reset his sights on importing cars rather than building them.
On your mark, get set, and you go!
In 1983, he made a deal to import the cheapest new car ever from Yugoslavia, the Yugo. Lots of jokes were made about the Yugo, but Malcolm was laughing all the way to the bank. My dad made $500,000 a month for 24 straight months until he sold the company for $20 million. But then, true to character, Malcolm proceeded to invest every single cent he had into starting an electric bicycle company and then an experimental fuel cell company. Both quickly went out of business, leaving him broke again. I once heard my dad referred to as the P.T. Barnum of the automobile world, and I thought that was a pretty respectable comparison.
If I hear anybody talking to anybody in the universe different than what I'm about to say, at that moment, I can't have them in my universe. So I'm trying to make this really strong. Here's the deal. We're going after signing dealers. That's number one. We're going to sign dealers as if Thanksgiving and then December 31st is our cutoff date. And we have no more hope after that. We're going down this road. We have to play ballsy. I don't want anybody showing weakness, which makes me look weak. I can't have that. I have no problem believing that this is going to happen exactly the way it's supposed to happen. Please don't let anybody fuck with my dream.
What if I told you that American-made vehicles are so yesterday?
It will not be long before some of the cars on the road in this country bear a new label, made in China.
What we want to do is sell cars that are fabulous cars inexpensively from China so that we are on the higher end rather than the lower end. Why don't we go after selling cars competing with BMWs and Mercedes and Jaguars and Audis, if we could? If we could build a car that had their soul, that had a better interior and had a bigger engine and looked really cool and was designed by Pininfarina Bertoni, and I could sell it for half price, I think there's a big market for that.
First, Bricklin went to Europe, where he had discussions with an ailing Polish car company.
So when you open the door, it looks expensive. When you look at it, it looks expensive. And when it drives nice. Now, when we go to hybrid, then we can go and give good performance.
Then he went to Tata Motors in India.
If we come up with a product that we want for the United States, and we come to you and say, would you engineer it? And then we bring it back, prototypes, and we get orders, then you can use that product to sell in Asia, to sell in Europe, to do anything you want, because all I know is North America.
Eventually, he landed in China.
Look at the inside of this car, guys. I'll take $3 million of it.
Chery, one of China's largest independent car makers, had caught Malcolm's eye. He wanted a deal with the company. One of his first challenges was to cross the cultural divide, which he did in his own unique style.
The word I hear when I talk about doing business in China is relationship. Relationship is the most important thing that we have to do if we're going to get together in a partnership in the most important car area in the world, the United States. We can take a long time and know a little bit about each other each time, or we can get naked. And we can show you just exactly who we are and show you in a way that you know exactly everything about us, so you know who we are and what we're going to do.
Despite this remarkable show, the two sides decide a deal is worth pursuing. But negotiations between the American maverick and his Chinese counterparts always seem to end up one step forward, another step sideways.
But unless we have a piece of paper signed that says we're going to get started, we have no interest in spending our time and our money giving you information about the United States market. It's time for you to decide, be my partner or not be my partner. And if you can't decide that, I can understand it. It's a tough decision. But to not be my partner could be the worst decision you can make. Performance bond? I'm going to put up $225 million, give them letters of credit for 50,000 units, and I'm going to give them a performance bond? You know what? That's insulting.
At one point, Bricklin got so frustrated on the lack of progress, he staged a walkout.
So it's obvious to me they don't want to really sign a contract that they're wasting our time.
All of these back to where we were when that man was negotiating with me 5 months ago. This is and we're putting up $225 million. What are they crazy? I'm going to the bathroom and I'm ready to leave. I want out of here.
In addition to the difficult negotiations, Bricklin was having a tough time raising capital for his part of the deal. Traditional American dealers were unwilling to stake a long shot, but finally, Bricklin persuaded 50 to put up the funds.
Due to declining sales by Detroit's big three automakers, car dealers were eager to explore other opportunities. Malcolm's plan was right on schedule.
After months and months of negotiations, the two sides were unable to close a deal. One of the established car makers, Chevrolet, now has the inside track on bringing Chery cars to America. But Bricklin remains enthusiastic about another deal with another Chinese firm. This is now what? This is the future?
This is an electric hybrid plug-in. This is the next generation that is going to change, I believe, the way cars are built and the way energy is used.
As for Malcolm Bricklin, if some Chinese deal doesn't work out, well, there are countless other options out there for this maverick of the motor industry.
You did shit that people said you couldn't do. Why is this not going to work?
Every other car company in the world would want it not to work, for starters. But everybody knows you can't stop it. I'm talking about quality, not that it's going to fall in the middle. I want to be in the top 1, 2, or 3, or I'm going to kill somebody.
Now he's once again going to put his own name on a vehicle with plans for a radically styled electric three-wheeler.
From its sleek body to its gull-wing doors, the Bricklin car is still finding new enthusiasts over 45 years after its making.
We drove to Tennessee and bought the thing a day after I saw my first Bricklin. And of course then, you never imagined that a 1975, mine is a 75, car would have such a following.
Malcolm says founding the Bricklin car still motivates him to this very day.
It's like seeing your kids. I see them on the road and I smile. And I see them here, and more important than the car, I see what it does with the people who own the car. And they're all nice people, the kind of people I want to be around. It's an interesting world. I'm going to keep on doing it until I die, and it's going to keep me young until I die.
Reporting in Bowling Green, Brandon Jarrett, WBKO News.